Hey guys, happy Monday. Today's Monday, April 29th. I still can't believe it's the end of April. Tomorrow's the last day. Tomorrow, in case I forget to say it, is my wonderful bestie, Kat Brower's birthday. She's like a sister to me, a much younger sister. Is that going to get me any points? Anyway, let us know you can hear us or see us. I'm with my friend Rich Massa. Do I say Massa right or Massa?
Massa's fine.
No, say it the right way.
It's Massa, but Massa sounds
Massa.
more formal.
I like it. Massa's good.
Yeah.
Kim Meredith Hampton, what's up, love? Ernie, what's up? Give us a thumbs up. Let us know you can hear us and see us. That's the most important part. Because Rich has a great message. I'm super excited to talk to him. I didn't go into my Jersey accent, but I was pretty close. We're going to talk with him. Hey, Shirley. All right, so we got some thumbs up and some hearts. Welcome. We've been trying to get together for a while.
Yeah.
My schedule's insane. I definitely want to be fired up, powerful, and productive, which I believe is part of our topic that we're going to talk about. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Super excited. All right, so we got another Jersey boy in the house. Tell us a little bit about you. Everybody likes to know the origin story, the history, before they listen to why they should, well, actually, before they go, well, I should definitely listen to Rich Massa. Tell us why I should be powerful and productive and fired up.
Well, that's a good question. I actually grew up in Jersey, like you said, the troublemaker part. And my parents were like, there's way too much trouble going on in this town, so we're going to move to Florida.
Jersey City.
Jersey City.
Yeah.
Jersey City. So I came here, and I got into entertainment and fitness modeling and things like that.
Oh, wait, I don't. See, this is why I don't do any. I like to be surprised as everyone else. You were in entertainment. I like the quotes around that.
Yeah, entertainment. Let's just keep it at that.
Yeah, that's okay. We're gonna go G-rated. No, seriously. So fitness model.
Yeah, I did some calendar shoots and things like that. I was really into fitness and bartending, and might have done a show here and there, and that was my.
What kind of show did you do, Rich?
I did a few different types of shows, so that was my field of entertainment and.
I'm never not shocked in these shows. I have no idea what people are going to say. That's awesome. So, what was the catalyst for you getting out of that?
I wanted to have a family, and that's actually what I'm exploring now. And I didn't think that world was fit for it, but I was kind of forced into this world. After I retired from entertainment, I actually got into a bad car accident. It shattered my leg, my arm.
Sorry.
And I was at the pinnacle of what you would call with fitness. My abs had abs. But
something my abs have never had. I've actually never seen my abs.
But after 3 months of being in an accident, it didn't even look like I worked out. So finally, then after that, I got a divorce. I was in Jacksonville. Then I moved here, and I kind of reinvented my life. But as I'm reinventing my life, and I became a personal trainer. I really love to help people. I wanted them to feel like how I felt like when I was in shape. So I became very passionate about it. I became one of the top trainers in Jacksonville, and they said, hey, you're such a good trainer. Why don't we have you in our Orlando location? That was Lifestyle Family Fitness. Then both of my parents passed within 2 years of each other.
Sorry.
And I was like, yeah, Rich, it's supposed to be a lively show. You're supposed to...
No, that's a good thing. We don't know. I never know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, and I said, you know what, there's obviously something. Actually, my dad passed first. And I said, I'm obviously being tested for something. I have a love for the stage. I have a love for performing. I also have a love for helping people. So I literally, here's the funny part of that tragedy. It was 2012 after my dad passed, and the Mayans predicted that we were going to die anyway, so I went to the mountains. So I figured that's going to be my spiritual journey. If the world ends, it's the perfect place to be.
And what mountains did you go to?
I went to the Blue Mountain, Georgia. Oh, it was gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful there. It's peaceful. I was able to be very self-reflective. And I came down and I started a boot camp. I called it iBoot Camp, where I wanted to build champions. And I had 80 members of my boot camp. I was the only trainer, and I hired somebody. But what made this different was I started putting the things I was studying with personal development, the people, the habits that, and I knew it was a stepping stone of what I'm doing now. I started having team building activities. Right when the boot camp was starting to really gain momentum, that's when my mom passed. She couldn't handle having not have, they were together for 40 years.
Wow.
So after that, I needed to really take a step back and what do I want to do next? What do I want to do with this gift of performing and love of being in front of people, but also the love of helping them? I said either I'm going to become a comedian or I'm going to become a speaker. And I decided to become a speaker and a coach. And I took all these nuggets that I learned. Like I started studying what made a warrior successful, what made a millionaire successful, what makes somebody in fitness successful, and I put this program together and these life transformations that I'm having to help people really perform at their best. That's what I'm doing now.
But so tell me about, so the fitness part I get, because I don't, because I'm not really into that, but I appreciate it. Like, I love somebody who's dedicated, devoted. It's their stress reliever. It's what's important to them. So I love that commitment to that excellence. So you take that and then you realize, all right, so I'm doing this physically for them. I want to provide them something mental as well. I want to provide them something soulful and spiritual.
Right.
So when you start studying people, who did you study?
Oh, obviously Tony Robbins. He's the godfather of coaching right now.
Right.
But also, I really got into Bruce Lee. He was not only the #1 martial artist and one of the most influential people in our culture, but he was actually a philosopher. When he hurt his back, he dived deep into philosophy and started studying this man. His name was Alan Watts. And I really started studying him, and I dove deep into Buddhism and Taoism. So, and Greek philosophy. So those are kind of my areas of philosophy of how does someone become aware? How does someone become their best they can be? So I went back in the past. I think right now we're kind of screwing things up with how we're living. So I went back to the ancients and said, how did they live and how did they kind of figure it out? And I found some really golden nuggets of wisdom. And then I noticed that the people who are successful today are applying what they did 5,000 years ago.
Right. So how does that work, though? Because I think a lot of people, we all like to read, right? Everybody's got Audible. Some people do still turn pages, which I love. But I think people take that and they hope they learn it by osmosis, and then all of a sudden there's no application in their life. They don't know how to take it from reading it. They don't know how to put it into a plan. They may enjoy what they're reading, but they don't know how to implement it. So how did you get to that next step? How did you go, all right, I'm going to put this together? And then what did you want? What did you do with it? Did you have like a 10-step program? I hate to say the word 12-step program. We don't say that on this show. 10 or 11-step program.
I don't know. Judging for some of the steps, I think some people in there
There's a lot of 12-step people here.
A lot of 12-steppers in there.
But what did you create?
Well, not to keep bringing it down, but when you lose both your parents or you go through a tragedy, you kind of look at life differently. You don't care so much about the money. Not to say that money's important, it is. But you don't do things for the money. So I wanted to go all in. I feel this in me. I wanted to study this. So what did the Taoists do back 3,000 years ago?
I don't know, but tell us what that means. I think people have an idea of Buddha.
Okay.
I mean, in my bathing suit, I could pass for Buddha. But I don't think anybody understands Tao. It's D-A-O, right?
Yeah. Well, they believe in nature. And not nature like the forest, but the nature of everything is. For every basically, whatever good thing there is, there's a bad thing. There's no purpose to everything. Everything there's order and chaos. So I found that very fascinating. So I said, well, how does the human condition work, right?
Right.
And I feel now that we are conditioned to be depressed, stressed, have anxiety, and it's all an illusion, right? We cause it ourselves. We like to feel amped up because it makes us feel alive. We have the phones, these things that are causing more stress.
So true.
So, and Buddhism is actually, they say about attachment. That attachment causes suffering. So like, okay, we're attached to our phones, right? And actually, to talk about the 12-step program, all I do is say, go 30 days without these 5 things. You can do anything, but it doesn't mean never to have it again.
Right.
But what are the things that are causing you stress? But the trick is, here's the trick, Ted. People view this as a diet, like I'm taking something away. I call it the refuse and choose. You're refusing it for 30 days because it gives you the power. you're having the power. You say avoid, whatever you're giving up has the power. When you say, I refuse this for 30 days, but you got to fill it in with something more powerful. So that's where I even studied the Bible, like the power of I am, right? So what foods give us the most power? What actions give us the most power? What words give us the most power? And that will really fundamentally change the way you think, the way you act, and the way you become.
I love the thought process on, you're not sacrificing, you're not taking away, you're taking control back, right?
Yes.
So I love that. So if you give something up, which is what people think, like let's say you give something up for Lent, the thought process there, other than the whole religious side of it, is you're taking the control back over that particular thing. And so the reason that there's sacrifices, that's the way we look at things. But in reality, if you give up, like a lot of people give up social media for 30 days. Why? It's controlling your life.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you're taking the control back. I understand that thought process. If you frame it in a negative way where you're suffering because of it and don't look at it positive, which I think is why you want people to be fired up, productive, and powerful. You're
Absolutely.
giving them the power back.
Yeah.
You're taking your power back.
And really that's what it is. If you think that you're giving up something instead of how are you going to feel after it's done, that's the main thing is. Think of it after 30 days. If you say, "Oh my God, I can't give this up for 30 days. This little device that sucks the life out of me. I can't give it up for 30 days."
So true.
Why don't you see how you're going to feel after the 30 days? And I want you to focus on that. Like, how am I going to feel? You're going to feel more connected with your family. You're not going to waste so much time. You're not going to. Who cares about the meal someone had at lunch and cats playing pianos on YouTube? I mean, really, how is that?
I like it.
Because really, what I found is people are trying to escape.
So I think escapism, we were talking about this on an earlier show, or sometime today I had this discussion. People they just want to escape, and they want something different. They just don't know how to do it or how to go about it. They know that whatever's in their lives isn't giving them any power, certainly isn't firing them up, and everybody feels cathartic and unproductive. So that's why I love the title that you came up with, because I feel like people are hungry for that.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do. So when you're talking to somebody, let's say I come to you, or you do classes, tell us a little bit about that before I ask the question.
Well, I do one-on-one coaching. I also launched, I have this one signature event. I launched it in February. It's originally was 6 hours, but I said I can get this down to 4. It's a power-packed event. Think of it like, the best way to put it is Tony Robbins. Like I said, he's the godfather. But it's 9 to 1, and we step-by-step go through our coaching my personal coaching program. The first step is creating awareness. And the best way I feel to do this, like I was talking to some of the staff here, I love to talk to people. They go, "Oh my God, I'm stressed out." The most powerful technique I give somebody, and the first thing we do in the event, is you got to write down how you feel now and embrace it. And what that does is people don't like to do that. It's very uncomfortable.
People have no desire to address how they're really feeling.
Yeah.
It's very uncomfortable.
But what they don't understand is once they embrace it, see, all your mind and body wants to do is eat, sleep, and have sex. That's it. Look at your face right now. Like, oh man, that sounds.
I mean, that's pretty much the human nature, right?
Yeah, that's all. But then you're a slave to the body, right? And it moves away from what we're uncomfortable with, and it moves away from pain. So here's my theory. If you actually took 5 minutes and wrote down, and you use the mirror of your mind and look at yourself in the mirror, this is how I feel right now, and you honestly write it down. It doesn't have to be all bad. Like I said, it just is. Some of it could be good. And say, wow, this is how I feel right now. You're going to start moving away from that naturally. It's a natural flow. And then say, here's how I want to feel. Then all of a sudden you're going to want to make that change. Because you're going to realize that you're stressed out and in pain, and I want to feel powerful and successful.
How do you get people to actually write down what they're really feeling? You know what because I've been to some of these exercises where you're supposed to tell what's on your mind, what's on your plate, and then people give you the fluff answer. I have a feeling with your voice and your command of things that you don't put up with that for very long.
Yeah. The jersey comes out.
The jersey comes right out.
Well, here's the thing. This is where meditation, this is where the ancient nuggets come in. I like, we'll call them the ancient nuggets. We have a very ambitious mind. It is meant to help you survive. That's what I mean. All it wants to do is eat, sleep, have sex, because that's how we survive and how we procreate. If you literally just take 3 deep breaths into your nose and out through your mouth, you'll calm down the ambitious mind, and you're like, okay, I'm ready. And that's the first thing I do. I go, just take a deep breath. And then all of a sudden, you are creating awareness and a little bit of honesty, and I just want you to write it down. Just write down three feelings that you have right now after the 3 deep breaths, and then I go, the first answer is probably BS. Am I allowed to curse on the show?
Sure.
Okay. The first answer is probably horse shit. That's what I probably say. Do this several times. Do the 3 deeps into your nose, out to your mouth, and on the third one, because like you said, the first one's surface, then we're really getting to the subconscious, and they're becoming honest with themselves. They're like, wow, I didn't even understand I felt that way. Then you're going to start seeing some real change.
I agree. And I think, so a lot of people underestimate the value of that deep breath. Really quick, I want to go on that.
Yeah.
Most of us, the last time we took a deep breath is when the doctor had a stethoscope on your chest or your back. And even then it was shallow. So people think, oh, I take deep breaths all the time. When's the last time you literally filled your lungs up and really exhaled? I did it recently, so this is what, look, I'm one of those people that thought, what is that? That makes absolutely no sense. I did it, and I was like, well, first of all, I almost fell over because it's the first time I'd taken a deep breath standing up in a very long time. But you take that deep breath in, and when you let it out, you're like, holy God, that's probably the first exercise my lungs have gotten in a very long time.
Yeah.
But it was cathartic. It was cathartic. So I love that. All right, so then you have them write that down, and then how do you get them? How do you motivate them to get fired up? Because this fired up the first part, that was the first part of it, right? Because in order for you to become powerful, I imagine, and productive, you've got to get fired up about what's going on.
Well, that's a great, you have some great questions, by the way. You can tell you're an experienced interviewer.
You're kind.
Thank you. Well, basically, the first thing I ask him is, what do you want? What do you want? So first is, I believe if you take pain and desire, because I think a lot of us are in pain. 86% of Americans don't like what they do. They hate their job. They're unhappy, right?
Yep.
So once you say, this is how I feel, and you sit down and say, okay, that's the first stick, is the pain. Then I go, what do you want? I mean, I'm talking about, I want you to picture yourself lying on your deathbed. And picture yourself 3 months from now. What will make you feel amazing, right? And then they'll use like, oh, now I want to feel amazing. I feel like crap right now because you just made me feel like, made me look at myself in the mirror of my mind. What's going to make you feel amazing? Now, here's the trick. I use the analogy of a campfire. If I went camping and I built a fire, and it's a beautiful fire, and I just left it alone, what's going to happen to it? It's going to go out.
Burn out.
It's going to go out. What I want to do is I want to keep putting logs in the fire. And that's where discipline comes in. The most powerful technique, and that's what I gave the staff. Am I allowed to mention her name?
Sure.
Maggie. Okay, we got into a conversation. I go, the most powerful tool I give my clients is their morning routine. And the most powerful tool I give in the morning routine is the morning journal. You wake up, you write down one thing that you're grateful for, but I want you to write down how you feel now and how you want to feel. And you constantly remind yourself. And you tell with body language, and in that, I am powerful, I am capable, I'm going to own today. And that's pretty loud. All of a sudden, with your chest out and your arms out, that actually studies are showing that rushes serotonin to the brain.
I believe it.
And you're getting in touch now, and you're writing it out physically, and you're now programming the subconscious, and you're putting another log on the fire. The more that you do that, the more you're going to have a big life transformation.
I think people underestimate the value of what you do in the morning on how the rest of your day goes. We've talked on the, I'm a gratitude person. I wish I was better at journaling, but I'm going to tell you, I've tried it. I've done it. I have one in my bedside table. I do get up every morning and am thankful. I express gratitude for even the smallest things, even if I'm not feeling it. And I'm going to tell you, it makes a difference in the day. There are days when I don't do it, and I'm cranky when I get here, and thank God for Maggie coffee, because it gets me right out of that crankiness. But I'm setting myself up for what the day's going to be. People also don't like to take responsibility.
No.
They don't want to believe that they're in control of that, because if they're in control of that, they have to be responsible for it.
Right.
It's kind of like I used to tell my kids, they're like, you made me mad. No, you're choosing to be mad. That makes people insane because you're making a choice. So in the morning, when you give that routine, you have a choice. Do you want to wake up grateful or do you want to wake up cranky?
Well, just to touch on that, you know what most people do? I actually they do two things. They either grab their phone and they're checking their email or Facebook the second they wake up. Or, which is even worse, I think, is they turn on the news.
Oh, God, yeah, no. I'm not a news fan, so I'm with you on that.
And the news is designed, first off, just to anybody who's watching, just to let you know, they're doing studies on the blue light on your phone. It's causing depression and anxiety. The blue light is designed that way. Plus, so if you're checking your email, you're automatically in a reactive state. Automatically. So when you're in reaction, you're stressed out. You're going to start making decisions based on a reactive, stressed out person. Number one. Number two, what do you think the news does?
I know. First of all, they have to sell news, guys. The more crazy it is, the better. But somebody brought this up. I'm so glad you brought up blue light. Listen, just because you don't see a blue light, he's not talking about that. I want you to know that all of our phones are blue light. So look up the technology and Google it. I actually had somebody talk about that once, many moons ago, on the show about the blue light. And I had many people message me, well, my phone's fine, Ted. I don't have a blue light. For the love of God, yes, you do. So he's just talking about your phone in general and the technology there. When you wake up and that light goes off, there's your blue light.
Yeah. So I use the analogy of like when the lights on your phone, it's like you're in the Invasion of the Body Snatchers or the Walking Dead. And all it does, if you think of it, all it does is feed you back your own horseshit that you believe.
Right.
It's not meant to make you grow. So let's say, I'm not going to bring politics, but let's say you hate Trump. All you're going to do is see anti-Trump stuff. It's going to just reinforce what you believe instead of actually having a conversation and expanding your mind. And you're in a hate state.
Right.
So you're waking up stressed out, reactive, and I hate him. Oh.
So true.
So you're going to make decisions based on your food, your performance. So you're going to be reactive all day. So you're not going to be productive. So that's what I do. I'm not saying get off Facebook. Can we just wait till 9 o'clock?
I have people that won't, for the first hour, they don't look at their phone.
Yeah.
They either meditate, pray, they do gratitude journal, they're thankful, whatever it is. There's no phone, no TV, no social media for that first hour. And I find that those people tend to be in a better mood.
Yeah.
Hey, Lulu. So talk about the powerful part, because I think people, they misunderstand the word powerful. I think they think of it as you're in a position to not do the right thing. It's funny how when I bring up powerful, I think that means in your own life and for the world and the community and the universe. But people are like, well, if I'm powerful over, they think over. If I'm powerful over rich.
Right.
And that's not what powerful is supposed to be. It's powerful in your own life and what you do with it. So talk about the powerful part.
Well, let me preface it with this. They did a global study, especially here in this country, that the average person has 60,000 thoughts a day. Over 80% of them are negative. So that's where I want to talk about with power. If most of your thoughts are negative, you're going to make decisions and have the body language of a negative person. So let's say you're in sales. Are you going to be powerful in your sales, right? If you're in office, are you going to be holding a powerful position in office? If you're in a family, are you going to be the powerful leader in your family? So all this is trying to program you to believe that I am a powerful person just in the decisions that I make.
Right.
So I want you to just go into the power position of the day and make the best decisions powerful, those best decisions possible, so you direct your life in a powerful way.
Because I think people think they're powerless.
Yeah.
Like, I believe one of the negative feelings that people feel all the time, if you ask people, you mentioned it, 86% hate their job. People feel powerless in their lives. They feel like it's drudgery. They clock in, clock out. They eat the same thing every weekend, the same thing every night, see the same people, and nothing changes.
Then they wonder why 20 years went by like that.
Correct, and why they're not in a good place. whereas they don't realize that they are not powerless.
No.
But in order for you to become powerful, you have to you have to change your habits. You have to change the things that you're doing. If you're going through it and doing the exact same thing, waiting for the exact, and hoping for a different result, what is that called? It's insanity, right? So why would you do that? You have to change what you're doing in order to become powerful and productive. And when you change, you get fired up. I can't make that up.
Yeah.
So what does somebody do if they want to bring a group to you? You said you do you don't do boot camps, but you have an event.
Yes.
What if somebody says, "All right, I've tried coaching before. I'm in an industry, blah blah blah. You don't know anything about my industry, Rich." Or I'm a high-level CEO, or I'm just a low woman on the totem pole. They can still come to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so talk a little bit about that, because I think people envision coaching as it's a big luxury, and they are afraid that they're not going to be able to afford it, and then they also don't understand how talking to somebody, it's called therapy in other worlds, but how talking to somebody and having somebody help you through and giving you guidance can change your life. So talk a little bit about the perception of coaching.
One of the what people have to understand is some of the most successful people on the planet have a coach. Michael Phelps had a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach. And that's not just sports. I actually been watching Donald Trump's, not to bring him up, I'm not saying I'm pro or against, but he had a coach.
Sure.
And Oprah had a coach. Let's bring up the other side. Most major successful people have a coach. If you have had a personal trainer, you have had a coach. If you have had a priest, you have had a coach. So all these people do is, and most coaches will have a platform where if you work with them one-on-one, of course it's going to be more of an investment. But I just developed a coaching program. So my event is called Ignite. I want to ignite the fire within. And there, when you leave there, and you leave with my coaching program, I give it all away. I give it all away. I want you to leave with something that you can apply and say, wow, this guy gave me a gift. Even if you get 3 nuggets out of it, you leave with something. But then I started the Ignite Academy. I took 4 people on. One of them is in Scholastic Book Fairs. One is in real estate. I have another client who's in real estate. One just started a new job, all from all walks of life. And then, because I don't have to know your job. You know your job. So all I want to do is help you get the best structure possible, and that way when you have these goals, you're firing on all cylinders. But not just in your job, but in your family, in your fitness, because all of them are wheels on the vehicle of your car.
Correct. All right, so before we head out, and I do my last little spiel.
Okay.
People sometimes leave the show, and they will message me and go, Ted, everything's perfect in your life. It's all amazing. Your guests must have it all together. Can you share with them, is there any moment in time on a daily basis where you're not perfect, where you're not 100% firing on all cylinders? Explain that to them, because I think people look at a coach and think you're perfection. They look at somebody who's doing a live show and they think they get this defeatist thought process. So talk a little. You're human, I guess, is the part I want you to say out there.
I think, honestly, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass or anything like that, but I think that's one of the best questions you could have asked me, because I literally, the first week of Ignite Academy, maybe it was the second week, I told them that I'm human too. Just to be vulnerable with everybody, I sold my house and spent all the money to do what I'm doing now. My night routine is the weakest part of my day. I struggle with it. I wanted to throw my computer across the room. And there's a fat alcoholic that lives inside my body and tells me to drink whiskey and eat pizza every night. And every once in a while, that bastard wins. I hate that guy, and I love him at the same time.
I understand.
But, you know, the difference is I just try to get more wins than setbacks. That's it. I have my days. I gain my weight. I have my struggles. And believe me, just a few months ago, I go, I've done everything I can do. I don't know what else to do. I feel this gift inside me, and all I want to do is share it. And then, you know what? Not an hour. I was about to hang it up. I said, I can go to any gym and become one of their top trainers. And then the phone rang, and someone invited me on their show.
Isn't that awesome?
And I'm not even joking with you. So yeah, coaches are human, and the ones that just, and I share that on my Facebook Live show. I go, I've almost given up. But that makes you relatable because you know, and I wanted to give this message to the guys. Vulnerability is not weakness.
Amen.
It is the greatest form of strength because you are showing, there's no armor. So I wanted to be the type of coach that shows, hey, this weekend, I'm going to go watch Endgame, and I'm going to have a nice big juicy burger with cheese coming down. I'm going to have a big bottle of rum in the movie theater. I'm going to sneak it in there with raisinets and popcorn. But you know what I'm going to do the next day? I'm going to do a fast for 7 days called the Master Cleanse. And I'm not going to watch any news or social media for 7 days. Because there has to be a balance there. There has to be a reset. But there has to be a reward too.
Agreed.
Make sense?
Makes sense. All right, so you learned from Rich. We're going to share all of Rich's contact information, how you can reach out to him, how you can watch his Facebook Live show twice a week. I mean, you want to reach out to Rich, right? Isn't this motivating? I feel it. All right, any parting words of wisdom for them? Anything you want to share before we head out?
The only part is refuse the things that do not serve you and choose the ones that do.
I love it. You're a joy to have on, my friend. That was awesome. I think we reached a lot of people. So reach out to Rich. He's awesome, right? The vulnerability. That's why I love Facebook Live, because you can't fake it, people.
And Ted, thank you for having me on the show.
It's a blessing.
A lot of fun.
Absolutely love it. All right, we love you guys. We'll see you back tomorrow. Mwah.